Hello everyone and my grant subscribers. You're welcome to Uaagupdates Grant channel where we give you the latest and updated version of the UAAG disbursement funding. If you're new on my channel, please consider subscribing by clicking the notification bell so that whenever we publish our new content, you'll be kindly notified. Thank you so much for subscribing and God bless.
I trust you are having an exciting and profitable day. Today we will address two critical concepts in the grant ecosystem. The two subject matter is what is the cause of the delay of UAAG disbursement, while the second concept is when is the disbursement going to take place. Why there's so much agitation, confusion and desperation in the ecosystem when actually there is a good news? We should supposed to build our strength around this good news rather than on those roadside news that is circulating in the WhatsApps and Telegram platforms. Yeah, I've seen that there are huge tension in the grant ecosystem. Yes, it is January, the times are hard, everywhere is dry. Yes, it's understood. But those that knows where they are rooted to, those that knows the source of the reality they are connected to, won't be shaken by the delay, won't be shaken by the inability of realization of what they were expecting, knowing that despite the delay, it can never be denied. UAAG grant, is the only realistic grant existing in Nigeria and will be disbursed for the first time since the inception of this country. What is the cause of the delay in UAAG disbursement? While the second one is the disbursement template. Template is out, different from the old one. This new template is more reasonable than you can ever think possible. I can't help but wonder why there is so much tension, so much agitation, so much confusion and desperation in the grant ecosystem right now. At the same period that this long anticipated expectation is going to come into realization, then people become more confused and distorted in their confidence. Why are you losing confidence and strength in the same reality that you have invested so much in? The same where man's treasure lies is where his mind and strength is built around, where his confidence is gravitated on. There is no reason for a drain in confidence, or there is no reason for fear of unknown, fear of if the grant will be disbursed, when actually there is a good news. I'm going to share the good news shortly. Kindly comment, like and subscribe to our channel. Turn on the notification bell, hence the next content which is going to reveal the entitlement of the bundle head, the recipient and beneficiary. You will be immediately notified. Now let me start with the first subject matter, which is what is the cause of the delay in UAAG grant disbursement. And the simple answer to this is that the delay is caused by the period of the year we are into. When I mean the period of the year, I mean the January we are into. Take note that the first week or the second week of January is not like the first or second week of July. It's not like the first or second week of August or the first and second week of December. We are considering the first and second week in a month where people who have traveled for holidays haven't even returned from their long overseas holidays. And even it's still in the first or second week of the month that so many institutions and parastatals haven't resumed from service. Even when they have resumed operation, their clinical personalities have not really resumed their functions in their offices. For example, I noticed that it is even today that the Joint Admission and the Matriculation Board are just resuming to work. So many boards and parastatals are just resuming today. The whole of last week was empty offices everywhere. It baffles me when people actually hit people home by the word that they have released into the air. I've seen in so many WhatsApps and Telegram groups where individuals are now criticizing Apostle Ambassador Ken for saying that if the holiday was supposed to be delayed by 1 or 2 weeks, that the grants should have been disbursed. Now that the first or second week of January has spanned and there's no disbursement, there is intense criticism of the same man that is holding the yardstick of our breakthrough. That is why time and again people refuse to give deadlines or timelines of the activities. Hence, if eventuality comes into the circle, you will not hold them responsible or hold them by their words. And this is not healthy for the system. This is the same reason why there is hoarding of information or withdrawal, closure of all avenues of communications with the subscribers, because the same word that you said today will definitely be used against you if you fail to live up to the expectation of the people. We should allow the spirit of discernment and understanding to guide our consciousness, especially in this era we are facing, in this new year we are going into. Having said this, the good news is that the delay of the disbursement in December is actually a blessing in disguise. It's profitable, most especially to bundle head and beneficiaries. If the grant was to be disbursed in the December period, it should have just been a mere palliative without providing you the resources that you actually need to build meaningful and reputable life that is sustainable far deeper into the ages. But because of the delay, there is more reasonable provisions and separate entitlements for both the bundle heads and the beneficiaries. In essence, in the template, there is new disbursement template. In the template, bundle heads are earning quite separate, meaningful entitlement than the beneficiaries. Remember, in the former template, bundle heads and beneficiaries were supposed to receive the grant as recipients. We were hearing of 100,000 naira for everyone, which is not something that anyone should have built a life with. So the separate entitlement for bundle heads and beneficiaries, same one that will make an individual that was doing a work that was life-threatening to resign from works. So many security guards are going to become millionaires with this grant when disbursed. Trust me, it is more meaningful than you can imagine possible. And this glory is owed to the magnanimity of Apostle Ambassador Ken Wakana, the man that feels uneasy about the people's struggles and difficulties, the man that is sent to create freedom, breakthrough, and emancipation of the struggling Nigerians of black society. So rather than be living in state of desperation or confusion, rather than be drained of confidence, let the spirit of discernment drive you, aware that in the shortest time possible, you are going to break through from your struggles, from your tribalities. You are going to live a more mastered life, a life you are purely full in control than ever before. So in the next video, I'm going to review the specific entitlements of bundle heads and beneficiaries. Then, when is the grant expected to be disbursed? This is the 3rd week of January, the week everyone has been anticipating. If you go by the last meeting between Apostle Ken and the NGO CEOs, this is appropriately the week everyone should expect disbursement. So logically thinking, time and again we keep giving ourselves today, tomorrow, 1st week, 2nd week, 3rd week. And that is the reason for the raised blood pressure amongst grant subscribers. I always advise people to give themselves long period. Hence, if it happens in between, you celebrated them more. If it happens in between, you are taken by surprise. It's better than giving yourself a very short timeline and it failed to come to reality. Grant will be disbursed in January, and I'm optimistic it is going to be disbursed this 3rd week. Haven't failed the 1st and the 2nd week. Definitely it will take this week or the last week of January. So It's advisable for you to keep disbursement of the grant in the entire month of January rather than keep it first week, second week, this week, or last week. Those are specific ways of thinking, hence you will not be frustrated when what you keep as a deadline is not coming into realization. I've seen in so many WhatsApps and Telegram groups where there are factions of believers of this grant and those that are not. And if you happen to defend the disbursement of the grant, the other faction begin to mock you or call you a fool for believing on the grants that will never be disbursed. Some of them will say UAG will simply be like SEM, Tepacon, Golden Bridge, Mama Supreme. Detach yourself from those who don't hold the same convictions of life like you. If you are believing on the UAAG grant disbursement and they don't allow people's opinion of you become your reality. Move away from them. If people have the right to believe and think the way they like, but don't join that audience to feel pessimistic of the same activity, of the same grant that you have invested so much time and years in nurturing till this hour we are. Build yourself around those that believe on this disbursement of grants like you. I'm aware of two factions that are currently at loggerheads with some certain people in the grant ecosystem. And because this same audience that believe on UAAG were trying to prove them wrong on their sentimentally driven reasoning. And you know, in life, when you try to prove people wrong and they feel embarrassed in the public scene, by so doing, finding a way to punish you, finding a way to blackmail you or bring you down. Don't try to prove people wrong if they don't believe on your convictions. What we have invested years in, over 7 years ago, without seeing it, is definitely going to happen this year. It's happening this January. UAAG grant becomes the only grant that will break the jinx or disbursement deadlock in Nigerian territorial system. Believe it, it's a reality already. The good news is already everywhere. It's just counting hours to hit you personally. This is the consciousness we are all presenting ourselves to usher in the good news, and it's going to happen in the shortest time possible. This week, quite optimistic. Good news is that this time the delay has created avenue for the inclusion of bundle heads and beneficiary at the same time. So the entitlement of bundle heads is going to be more meaningful, more life-altering than it should have been if it was disbursed in the Christmas period. And it's equally going to be more beneficial to the subscribers or the beneficiary than it should have been at that period. So the delay is a blessing in disguise. Bundle heads that were working formerly as or megas in the rich gate is going to withdraw from working as a security guard. Those that were into menial trading services are going to withdraw from trading. I know so many people that are doing life-threatening tasks, so many people doing a work that they don't like. They are going to resign to do things that they are comfortable with. This grant that is coming is different from what we were all expecting. Be more receptive, you be more discerning in thinking while you allow this process to unfold accordingly. Be in the state of euphoric celebration. It's going to be an epochal moment ever in Nigerian history. Subscribe, comment, turn on the notification bell, hence immediately I publish my next video, which is going to be on the take home or the entitlement of a bundle head, beneficiary and NGO. You will be immediately notified.